This happened to me last year, and I still get chills just thinking about it. I'm a night owl, so late-night food deliveries are my jam. One Friday night, around 1 a.m., I was craving some tacos. I pulled up Uber Eats, found a 24-hour spot, and placed my order. Everything seemed normal. The app showed my driver, a guy named Marcus, was on his way. I live in a pretty quiet suburban neighborhood, so I wasn't worried. I tracked his car on the app as it got closer. When he was about a minute away, I went to my front porch and waited. My house is at the end of a long, dark driveway with a single streetlight flickering at the entrance. I saw headlights turn onto my street, and the car slowed down as it approached my driveway. But then, it just stopped, right at the entrance, under that flickering light. It sat there for what felt like an eternity. I checked the app. It still said Marcus is arriving now, but the car wasn't moving. I started to get a little uneasy. Maybe he was lost. I sent a message through the app. "Hey, you're at the right place. Just come all the way down the driveway." No response. The little icon on the map didn't budge. I waited another 5 minutes. Nothing. The car's headlights were still on, cutting through the darkness, but it was just sitting there, engine idling. At this point, I was more annoyed than scared. I thought maybe his app crashed or something. I decided to call him. I tapped the call button in the app, and it started ringing. After a few rings, a man answered, but his voice was strange. It was raspy and quiet, almost a whisper. He said, "Hello," I said. "Hi, is this Marcus?" "My Uber Eats driver." There was a long pause. Then he whispered, "I'm here," I said. "Yeah, I see your car at the end of the driveway. Can you just drive up to the house?" Another long, unsettling pause. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. He whispered, "You should come get it. It's not safe for me up there." What? Not safe? My quiet little neighborhood. I asked him what he meant, my heart starting to pound. He just repeated, "It's not safe. There's something waiting for you." I was completely freaked out. I looked down my dark driveway, towards the car, and saw nothing, just the headlights. I told him I wasn't coming out there, and that he should just cancel the order. He didn't say anything. Instead, I heard a faint sound through the phone, like a soft, rhythmic tapping. Tap, tap, tap. Then he whispered, "It knows you're watching. It's right by your door." I swear, my heart stopped. I slowly backed away from my front door, which was all glass. I couldn't see anything outside in the darkness beyond the porch light. The tapping on the phone got a little louder. Tap, tap, tap. Then the man, Marcus, whispered one last thing before hanging up. "Don't open the door." And the line went dead. I was frozen in my living room, staring at the front door. The car was still at the end of the driveway, its headlights like to giant eyes. I called the police. I told them a delivery driver was acting erratically and refusing to leave. While I was on the phone, I watched the car. Suddenly, its headlights switched off, plunging the driveway into total darkness. A minute later, I heard the engine rev, tires squeal, and it sped away. When the police arrived, they found nothing. The driver was gone. The next day, I contacted Uber Eats support. They were apologetic and said they would investigate. A few days later, they followed up. They told me that the driver, Marcus, had been deactivated, but then they told me something else. According to their records, Marcus had marked my order as delivered at the exact moment he had called me. But here's the truly terrifying part. His GPS data showed that his car never stopped at the end of my driveway. It showed him parked a full 2 blocks away the entire time. I never ordered from Uber Eats late at night again. Thanks for listening, and stay safe out there. Alright, let me tell you about the single creepiest delivery I ever made doing Uber Eats. It still gives me chills just thinking about it. So, it was a pretty standard Tuesday night, a little rainy, a little quiet. I get a ping for an order from a local burger joint. Nothing fancy, just a burger, fries, and a milkshake. The drop-off location was in a part of town I didn't know very well, one of those older neighborhoods with huge, spaced-out houses and lots of dark, overgrown trees. I pick up the food, and the name on the order is just J. No full name, just the initial, a little weird, but not unheard of. I plug the address into my GPS and head out. As I get closer, the streetlights become fewer and farther between. My GPS announces, "You have arrived," but I'm in front of this massive, old Victorian house that looks completely dark. I mean, not a single light on. The place looked like it had been abandoned for years. Peeling paint, boarded-up windows on the second floor, and a yard that was a jungle of weeds. The delivery instructions were simple: leave at door, do not ring bell, okay? Easy enough. I double-checked the address on the app and the number on the mailbox. It matches. So, I grab the food, walk up the creaky wooden steps, and place the bag by the front door. It's pitch black, and the only light is from my phone's flashlight. As I'm setting the food down, I notice the doorknob is one of those old, ornate brass ones. It's tarnished, but what's weird is that it's completely clean, like someone had just polished it, while the rest of the door is covered in grime and cobwebs. I take the picture for the app to confirm the delivery, and just as my phone's flash goes off, I hear a sound from inside the house. It's a faint scratching noise, like fingernails on a wooden floor. I freeze, my heart starts pounding. I tell myself it's just a raccoon or something that got inside. I finish the delivery on the app and turn to leave, practically sprinting back to my car. As I'm backing out of the long, dark driveway, I glance back at the house. In one of the second-floor windows, the one that I thought was boarded up, I see a faint light flicker on. It looks like a candle, and for just a split second, I swear I see a silhouette of a person standing there, watching me. I slam on the gas and get out of there as fast as I can. The next day, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I looked up the address online. What I found made my blood run cold. The house had been the site of a famous unsolved mystery decades ago. A family had lived there, and one night, they all just vanished without a trace. The police found a half-eaten dinner on the table, but the family was never seen again. The house has been empty ever since. I checked my earnings for that night, and the tip from Jay came through. It was $1, but that wasn't the creepy part. A few minutes after the tip registered, I got a new message from the customer through the app. All it said was, "The milkshake was cold. I never delivered to that part of town again." Some things are just not worth a 5-star rating. Be careful out there, because you never know who or what you're delivering to. Thanks for watching, and if you have your own creepy delivery story, drop it in the comments. I'd love to read them. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have you ever had one of those nights where everything just feels off? I'm an Uber Eats driver, and I've seen some strange things, but nothing prepared me for this one delivery. It was a stormy Tuesday, the kind where rain lashes against your windshield, and the world outside is just a blur of dark shapes and smeared lights. The order pinged on my phone, and it was a simple one: a large pepperoni pizza and a 2-liter soda. The destination, though, was what gave me the first shiver of unease. 13 Blackwood Lane. It was an address on the outskirts of town, in a neighborhood known for being old, abandoned, and according to local legends, seriously haunted. I figured it was probably just some kids trying to prank a driver, but a job's a job. I picked up the pizza, the warmth of the box a small comfort against the chilling night. As I drove, the neat suburban streets slowly gave way to a winding, unlit road. Trees with twisted branches loomed over my car like skeletal fingers. My GPS finally announced, "You have arrived," and there it was. The house at 13 Blackwood Lane. It was a massive, Gothic-looking thing, straight out of a horror movie. Most of its windows were boarded up, and the paint was peeling off in long, curling strips. A single, dim light glowed from a window on the top floor. Taking a deep breath, I grabbed the pizza and soda and walked up the creaking wooden steps. The porch groaned under my weight. The instructions on the app just said, "Leave at door," simple enough. I placed the food down, took the confirmation photo, and was about to turn and run back to my car when I heard it. A faint scratching sound from inside the house, right behind the door. I froze. It stopped. I told myself it was just the wind or a rat. I started to back away slowly. Then, I heard a voice. A little girl's voice, whispering, "Did you bring my dinner?" My heart leapt into my throat. The whisper was so close, it sounded like she was right on the other side of the thin wooden door. I didn't answer. I just wanted to get out of there. But as I turned, the porch light, which hadn't been on a second ago, flickered to life, bathing the porch in a sickly yellow glow. And that's when I saw it, scratched into the wood of the door, just above the doorknob, were the words, "Help US." They looked fresh. I felt my blood run cold. I didn't wait for another invitation. I bolted. I didn't even look back. I just sprinted to my car, fumbling with the keys, my hands shaking uncontrollably. I threw the car into drive and sped away, my tires squealing on the wet asphalt. As I glanced in my rearview mirror, I saw something that will haunt my dreams forever. In that single, lit window on the top floor, a small, shadowy figure of a girl was standing there, watching me leave. I drove straight home, my heart pounding the entire way. I immediately canceled the order and reported the address to Uber support, telling them it was unsafe. They were understanding, but I don't think they grasped the sheer terror of what I experienced. I never took another delivery on the outskirts of town again. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about that house. I think about the scratching sound, the desperate message carved into the door, and the little girl's whisper. Who was she? What did she want? I'll never know, and honestly, I don't want to. Some doors are best left unopened, and some deliveries are best left undelivered. So, if you're ever driving for a food app and you get an order for a creepy, rundown house on a stormy night, maybe just cancel it. Trust me, it's not worth the tip. Thanks for listening to my story. Stay safe out there, and be sure to subscribe for more strange tales from the road.